Well, hey everybody, I'm John Rethland, and with SummerSlam 2019 just under a week away, we are on the home stretch towards the biggest party of the summer. So here's the final countdown. Do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do. I'm so goddamn white, so goddamn white. What the fuck? What the fuck am I doing? Anyway, this is the final countdown for SummerSlam I'm going to do this year. It is 20 SummerSlam facts that you may not know. Because if you're like me, and I know I am, you could be a wrestling nerd and you could study up on all this stuff and have a whole lot of fun and study the randomness and figure out what titles change hands the most, who main evented the most SummerSlams, who was, who's winless, how many times were the women featured between, 2000 and 2010. In singles matches, it was once in 2000 and then once in 2010. The only other time on the main card was when Beth Phoenix and Mickie James were on opposite sides of a mixed tag match and everything. Everything else took place on either Heat or it was a dark match. I wish I was kidding. How fucking sad is that? That's a little tidbit there, but these are some of the most random facts. Not that you would have been able to tell that it's such a random goddamn video that I was doing, because that opening was totally normal. But these are ones I studied, and it was just a whole lot of fun. So I hope you guys have a whole lot of fun with this. People enjoyed the Mania facts list I did. I may do one for the Royal Rumble at some point. But anyway, for the biggest party of the summer, 31 events, I was able to find 20 facts, so I hope you enjoy. Here we go with number 20. Bret is the first man to win a title one year and then lose it the next year. He won the Intercontinental title at SummerSlam 1991, beating Mr. Perfect. Mr. Perfect having a really bad back, but putting Bret over strong because they always respect each other. But then, just 1 year later, Bret in the main event of SummerSlam 92, among like 80,000 people in Wembley Stadium, 80,000 plus, lost to the British Bulldog and lost the Intercontinental title. Now, he would go on to bigger and better things. He would win the WWF title very soon after that. Yes, it was still called the WWF at the time, so that's why I'm calling it that. But yeah, it's kind of interesting that he was the first man to lose a title or win a title at one event and then lose it at the following event, which is kind of cool and everything. Now, yeah, they had less pay-per-views back then, but it's just kind of cool, looking at like how much of Bret's career like just crescendoed and everything, and how even in defeat, he would go on to some bigger and better things. Bret, pretty synonymous with some good SummerSlam moments. Number 19, Jeff Hardy is winless at SummerSlam, and so is Booker T. Jeff Hardy was winless between 99 and 2001, and then 08 and 09, and then Booker 2001, 2002, 2004, 2006, 2007. And, the whole thing where it was King Booker versus the King of Kings, Triple H, and boy, that was a squash match. And then he went to Impact for a paid vacation and everything. Yeah, that's kind of interesting that they both are winless. I mean, obviously there are others that are winless, but for two fairly high-profile stars, and actually, if you take a look back on Jeff, that's Jeff just in, in various singles matches and everything. Because if you actually take a look at other matches that he had, I mean, he was winless in 99. He was winless in 2000. He was winless in a Tag Team Turmoil match. He was winless in the first TLC match. So actually, Jeff Hardy's had the worst luck at, SummerSlam, which is kind of funny. And I think they even alluded to that in the match he had against CM Punk at, SummerSlam 2009, aka the last SummerSlam that he had. I think so. I think he might have faced Shinsuke Nakamura at SummerSlam 2017. But God, he's lost every single SummerSlam. How fucking sad is that? And then he has a screwdriver, actually it was SummerSlam 2018. Then he has a screwdriver jammed into his ear by Randy Orton. Hooray! So then we get to number 18. Ric Flair is the oldest wrestler to get a win at SummerSlam. He was 57. He beat Mick Foley. Yeah, that was a feud that actually happened. It was a feud, I guess it could have been pretty interesting. But yeah, that was a little bit, that was kind of weird. It's really kind of sad how Flair deteriorated as he went on. To be fair, he was still able to pull out a quality match, but he wasn't the person that he was. I mean, who can be at that age and with how many injuries and everything and how many years he'd been wrestling? But still, pretty cool that Ric Flair is the oldest person to win a match at SummerSlam. At least something that actually mattered. And then we go on to number 17. Hogan and Orton had the biggest age difference in a singles match. Hogan was 53, Orton was 26. And of course, the young man went over. Except he fucking didn't. Hogan won. God, that was just ridiculous. I mean, I know Orton was kind of on thin ice at that point anyway, but fucking Christ. It's like Hogan beating him. Hogan using his creative control and all that and everything. Oh, but it was all about getting Hogan Knows Best over in Brooke Hogan on WWE TV. Easy for me to say that was a great idea, wasn't it? But then we go number 16. Let's see. And then so Hogan and, or actually, it was Hogan and Shawn Michaels that had the combined age for the oldest main event. And that's for like a singles match, obviously. You could go with like the Nexus versus Team WWE and everything. Of course, that would be the most combined age because, for fuck's sake, it's 7 guys on each side. But Hogan was 52 and Shawn Michaels was 40. 92. Now, if we wanted to go with actual match, Flair and Foley would have that. Foley, I believe, was 40. Foley, I believe, was 41 at the time. And then, Flair was 57. So actually, that would have been a combined 98. But for main event, 92, and of course Hogan's knees were about 92 years old at that point. But yeah, and then Hogan wanting to win and everything just beat Shawn, so Shawn just decided to flop around and everything, which was kind of goddamn funny. I'm always gonna laugh about that, even though the match is absolute shit. It's absolute dog shit. It is hilarious to watch. It's one of the few SummerSlam main events where if you actually watch it, you could appreciate it, because it's just like Shawn selling it like Hogan had like a warhead in his hand or something like that, or his foot was like, his foot was like a Scud missile and he was just bouncing around and everything and overselling it. I don't blame Shawn, even though Shawn could be a bit of a prick too, because I think Hogan might be the bigger one, and that's saying something. Now we move on to number 15. 10 main events were non-title matches. 88, 89, 91, 94, 05, 2010, 2012, 2015, and 2016. I had to write all those down because I remembered some of them, but I had to write them down. And yeah, there were 2 tag matches, actually 3 tag matches. 3 of those matches were tag matches. Yeah. I mean, actually the third one in 91 was actually a handicap match. But yeah, all those, it's like there were so many that were just tag matches and everything, just random shit and whatever. I mean, it was what it was, but it was just kind of silly and everything. I just always find it funny. I always think a title should close the show unless it's like a big match. Like 05 I got Hogan and Michaels, and I just went over that. But just like in Team WWE versus Team Nexus, which would have actually probably been a part of a fact on this list, except I've covered that to death, and quite frankly, Team Nexus should have won. They didn't, because Cena had to go over. But yeah, it's kind of interesting that in the 31 years, 10 main events were non-title. And some of them weren't all that good. But anyway, let's get on with the rest of this. We go to number 14. The Icy title changed hands at the first 5 events. Warrior beat Honky Tonk Man. Warrior then beat Rick Rude at the following SummerSlam in '89, after Rude had beaten him at Mania 5 earlier that year. Texas Tornado beat Mr. Perfect. Bret Hart beat Mr. Perfect, and then the Bulldog beat Bret Hart, as I alluded to earlier. And that's just kind of interesting, the IC title, the Workhorse title, and all that stuff. It's just kind of interesting. It's changed, of course, a handful of times since then, but the fact that from 88 to 92, it changed hands, and the only thing that stopped that was Shawn Michaels winning by countout to retain the title at over Mr. Perfect. Had they actually continued that streak, it would have gone on until, I think, 96, 97, 98. God, now that I think about it, I'm trying to think about the 96 match. The whole point is like, actually, besides 93, yeah, it changed hands at 94, 95, I think maybe 96, not sure. 97, 98, 99, 2000. It changed hands so many goddamn times, but broke that streak in 93, so I got to be honest. Just got to go with the first 5 events. But it changed hands a lot. Like, a lot. I think it's only been successfully defended maybe like 6 times. Maybe 6, 7 times in the entirety of SummerSlam. Which is saying a lot. But back in the late 80s, early 90s, it was considered a workhorse title. And that's a pretty cool fact. At least I think so. Number 13, John Cena lost at 6 straight SummerSlams. That was from 2011 to 2016. Because after stupidly beating the Nexus and ruining their momentum, Cena lost to CM Punk. He then lost to Punk in the Big Show. He lost to Daniel Bryan. He lost to Brock. He lost to Seth Rollins when Jon Stewart, of all people, interfered. And then he also lost to AJ Styles, which was actually a pretty goddamn good match. It was sort of ruined by the Royal Rumble 2017 match, where Cena had to get, his 16th title run, or at least creative had to give him that. But anyway, I digress on that. That's actually pretty interesting. And Cena, I think, of a main event guy, probably has the most losses. Probably has the most losses. I mean, another fact I'm going to come up with here, he's been at a lot of SummerSlams. But we go to number 12. The WWE title matches have ended in a countout or DQ 4 times. It was 92, 93, 04, and 2010. And that was Hogan, or not Hogan, Warrior and Savage. It was Yokozuna and Luger. Oh boy, yeah, that whole thing where they celebrated like Luger had won the goddamn presidency. And then 04, where they had, JBL and the Undertaker and stuff like that, and had to stop that idiot from almost going through the gimmicked roof. Good job on security there. And 2010, where it was Randy Orton and Sheamus. Yay for mid-card guys being champions. I know that Sheamus was a hard worker, but he was never meant to be WWE champion, in my opinion. He tried hard, and I wish him nothing but the best, and actually hope that he can continue to have success with his YouTube channel and stuff like that, but I think he's pretty much done wrestling. It's a shame, but yeah, 4 times. And actually, I mean, like I said, 2 of those times were by countout. The first 2 of the first title matches, like those were his second and third title matches. The first one was in 1990. 2 high-profile matches, and Warrior actually, what's scary? Warrior's undefeated at SummerSlam. Warrior's undefeated at SummerSlam. 88, 89, 90, 91. He was part of the winning team, even though he got suspended by Vince, and he won by countout over Savage in 92. Warrior is undefeated at SummerSlam, and I'm going to throw up. Except I'm not going to throw up, because I'm going to just say, great, I'm glad he's no longer here. But anyway, we go to number 11. Undertaker and Kane. They went from tag team rivals in 99. They went to singles rivals in 2000, and then to being a tag team in 2001. It was Undertaker and Big Show, the Unholy Alliance, versus Kane and X-Pac in 99. And then they faced off in a match at SummerSlam 2000 for whatever reason. And then they were a tag team against DDP and Kanyon in one of the most one-sided cage matches they've ever seen. Not the most one-sided tag match that they would end up having, because that would actually have an Unforgiven 2001 a month later. Oh dear, that match against Chronic. But maybe that one shouldn't be that high on the list. Maybe people don't think it's all that interesting, but it's just kind of a weird little way to tie it together. Yes, they would, rekindle their feud in 2010, but still, I just find it kind of funny that opposite sides of a tag team, then singles rivals, and then they were a tag team the following year. And then we go to number 10. The WWE title didn't change hands at SummerSlam until 1997. That was Bret versus Taker with Shawn as a special guest referee. It wasn't even defended until 1990. It wasn't, and then Warrior successfully retained. It wasn't even defended in 91. As I said about the countout victory, Warrior had over Savage, and then countout victory Luger had over Yokozuna. Bret retained over Owen. Diesel retained over Mabel. Shawn retained over Vader, in a match that clearly did not have any politicking or shenanigans involved. None at all, except all the shenanigans as far as the eye can see, as far as the thigh can see. I don't know how a thigh can see. That sounds like some body horror stuff, Italian stuff. I'm going to move on. But yeah, it was the first time that happened, and Bret was the one to take the title from Taker. Now, after that, it wouldn't be that long. It would happen again in 99, and then it would not happen again until 2002, where Rock was involved, and, Brock took it from him. It was the undisputed title, but still, it counts. But yeah, kind of interesting. Undertaker has had a storied career as well at SummerSlam, but that was a pretty interesting fact. Number 9, Chris Jericho went the longest between the first and second SummerSlam wins. He didn't even win in 2000. He won in 2001 over Rhino. And then he didn't win again. He didn't win again, even into 05 when he left. He didn't win any other ones. And then he won again in 2012 over Dolph Ziggler. Now, he has won a SummerSlam since, but he was actually part of a, tag team. He was part of a tag team match where, he was victorious against Enzo and Cass. Yeah, that was something that actually happened. Jericho had to work with Enzo and Cass. I wish Cass nothing but the best. Enzo, he's a weirdo. But with that, it's just kind of interesting. 11 years and everything. It just, yeah, okay, you could argue that maybe Hogan was something like that still, but yeah, I don't know. I just think at least with Hogan, he was gone from the company and stuff like that. Jericho was in the company for most of that time. And even the times that he left, he still was in SummerSlam often and just wasn't able to win at that point. That's just kind of funny. We then get to number 8. Undertaker has competed in the most consecutive events. It's 14. Cena is second with number 13. And Undertaker, it was 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000, 2001. Let me go with this. Kamala. He faced off against the Giant Gonzalez. He faced off against Fake Undertaker. He faced off against Kama, the Supreme Fighting Machine. He faced off against Mankind, Bret Hart, Steve Austin. And teamed up against Big Show versus Kane and X-Pac. Faced Kane. Teamed up with Kane against DDP and Kanyon. Faced off against, I believe, Test at 2002. He then faced off against A-Train 2004 or 2003. JBL in 2004. And then Orton in 2005. He was not part of 2006 because he just simply wasn't. So it was like, that's it. 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000, 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then he would compete at other ones after that and everything, but he was not part of, he didn't actually, faced off against Great Khali at, on a match just before SummerSlam 06. They were actually going to have him face Khali, and he didn't want to do that, so they blew it off on SmackDown. Whatever, Undertaker deserved the rest. But then Cena, 04, so Booker T, and then he faced off against Jericho, and he faced off against Edge, and he faced off against Orton, Batista, and then Orton again, and then, part of Team WWE, Punk and Big Show, Bryan, Brock, and then, Rollins, and then AJ. So he missed Undertaker's streak by 1. He failed to catch up to The Undertaker again. He didn't measure up to The Undertaker despite the Mania 34 issue. Holy fuck. Boy, John Cena was really excited to face The Undertaker, wasn't he? But anyway, that's pretty interesting. We go to number 7. The Hart Foundation were involved in the first tag title match and the first tag title change. And against the same team, sort of. They faced off against Demolition in 88. Axe and Smash were part of the team. Axe and Smash retained. But then by 1990, they were phasing Axe out. Bill Eadie was starting to age and everything, and they wanted to continue the gimmick. So Crush was brought in. So it was Crush and Smash versus the Hart Foundation. LOD got involved and caused a tag title change. 2 out of 3 falls. But yeah, kind of interesting. Just first tag title match and then first tag title change. And they actually were involved in the match against the Brainbusters at the following, at the 89 SummerSlam, but the tag titles were not on the line at that point, so it doesn't count. So there you go. And then we go to number 6. The Icy Title Winner has been in the WWE title match the following year 3 times. And that was Warrior. He won the title in 89 and then was WWE champion in 1990. Shawn won the Intercontinental title in 95, was a WWE champion in 96. And then Triple H won the Intercontinental title in 98, which a lot of people forget about because he had to relinquish it due to injury, and that's how Ken Shamrock won it. And then he was in the WWF Triple Threat title match the following year. Are there others? Maybe, but those are the ones that I can think of right now, and those are the ones that I was able to find. Because right now, often, you don't get people competing for the Intercontinental title and then at the following SummerSlam competing for that. At the following pay-per-view, sure, but we're talking about SummerSlam, and it's all about having fun with these facts. Number 5, Brock Lesnar has been in the most main events, 7. And he was that main event, or the match against Kurt Angle was not the main event in 2003, but it was 2002 and in 2012. And his match with Punk was not the main event, but from 2014 to 2018, face off against Cena, Undertaker, face off against Orton, Braun, Joe, aka Joe and Reigns. And that was in 2017. And then face off against Reigns, where Braun did not cash in. Braun looked like a goddamn doofus. That was in 2018. So, yeah, most main events for Brock. Hell, even if you take 2002 out, that's still pretty goddamn impressive that he's been in all but one of his SummerSlam matches have been in the main event. And I fear that he's going to be in the main event again, which we don't want. But still, whatever. We'll come to that when we get to it. But number 4, John Cena has been in the most WWE title matches at the event. 06 against Edge. 07 against Orton. 09 against Orton. 2011 against Punk, 2012 against Punk and Big Show, 2013 against Bryan, 2014 against Brock, easy for me to say, 2015 against Rollins. That is eight goddamn title matches. I mean, that's hard to beat. That is really hard to beat. No one's had that longevity. Even Reigns has not competed in that many title matches. He's competed in, what, 2? Yeah, the 4-way that I talked about, and then he competed in the Universal title match last year. But yeah, that's quite a bit of longevity. Number 3, Hogan had the longest drought between main events from 91 to 2005. It's 14 years. Now, to be fair, after 91, Hogan was not really in the company all that much. But if you take a look at like other people that were between main events and stuff like that, sure, you could go with maybe Undertaker, which was 94, 97, and then the next one was 2008, because he didn't compete at anything else. He didn't compete in the main event of anything else at SummerSlam. He was on the undercard and everything, but you could go with that. But with Hogan, it's just kind of interesting that he was back in the company. He was still in the company in 92, even though he took a hiatus. He could have been in the main event in 93 if he wanted to put Brett over, but no, he didn't want to do that. He wanted to be a little politicking bitch. 2002, he faced Brock and was, taken out by chewing the blood capsule. Holy crap, that was bad. He wasn't involved in 2003, and then by 2005 was actually the last main event that he was involved in, the last pay-per-view main event he was involved in. How funny is that? That Shawn Michaels ruined the last pay-per-view main event that Hogan was involved in WWE at least. So that was what it was. But yeah, okay, maybe it's a bit of a stretch and everything, a bit of a reach. But otherwise, we'd have to, like I say, go with Undertaker from 97 to 2008. Well, actually, no, that's not true. 98 to 2008, because, he faced off against Steve Austin and everything, and that was actually a pretty cool match. Kind of, except it wasn't. It was kind of sloppy. So then we go to number 2. And this is a bit of an interesting one. 3 members of the Clique won the Intercontinental title at SummerSlam. And that was 94, Razor, 95, Shawn, and 98, Triple H. And yeah, kind of interesting that Razor was always like, always in the Intercontinental title mix, but never in the WWF title mix. But yeah, it's just kind of weird. And actually, even while the Clique was still there, Triple H, yeah, I mean, the Clique was still around, but they were 2 separate companies. But, Diesel entered as champion, so technically all 4 members of the Clique, the only one that never won championship at SummerSlam, or the Intercontinental title that is, was actually Waltman, 1, 2, 3 Kid. Had a great match against Hakushi, though. That was actually pretty good. So yeah, technically 4 members held the title, but only 3 members won the title at the event. And number 1, the Intercontinental title is the only title to both open and close the pay-per-view. It opened the pay-per-view last year. I mean, we're not counting the pre-show. Sorry, pre-show. You don't count in this case, because they had dark matches and stuff like that before the network and before, like, the YouTube era and stuff like that. So 2018 had Rollins and Ziggler, which was a pretty goddamn good match. And then it closed the show. The only time it closed the show, 1992, Brett versus Bulldog. And I just think that's kind of interesting that, it's the only title to both open and close the show. I mean, yeah, you could argue, though, the tag titles and stuff like that may have opened the show more. There were actually, a couple times where 6-man tag, I think 6-man tags actually opened up 3 different decades, if I think about it, because, or it took place in 3 different decades, is a little different factoid. 1991, 2000, and then 2011, which is actually kind of interesting now that I think about it. I should have included that one, but I guess I just did. But yeah, there we go. Those are 20 SummerSlam facts you may have not known. I hope you guys enjoyed, and please leave, your thoughts in the comments and everything, and let me know what you guys think of the SummerSlam card so far. Myself and the Derb will be doing predictions for that sometime after SmackDown and everything, and in for the long haul, and we will see if the biggest party of the summer is going to be great or if it's going to suck. It's probably going to be a mix, but we'll see. Anyway, agree, disagree with what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritland. I will see you soon.